Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see the difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. First let's see what is OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. OpenAI is a company that created well-known ChatGPT. OpenAI has also created some of the models like GPT-4 and DALL-E. ChatGPT is a AI chatbot created by OpenAI built on GPT, that is generative pre-trained transformer family of large language models. OpenAI offers direct access to these AI models through their API platform, whereas Azure OpenAI, on the other hand, is a Microsoft enterprise version. It takes these same OpenAI models and wrap them in Azure cloud infrastructure. It is like getting the same engine into a different car, one that is built for enterprise. The key things to remember is the core AI models are the same. The difference is how you access them and what features come with them. Now let's see the key difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. Here are the 5 main differences. The first difference is the setup. With OpenAI, you can literally start in few minutes, sign up and grab the API key and start coding. It is that simple. Whereas for Azure OpenAI, you need Azure subscription. You have to apply for access, set up resources, configure networking. It can take days or even weeks for enterprises. The second difference is the security and compliance. This is where Azure OpenAI shines. If you are in healthcare, finance, or government, Azure OpenAI offers HIPAA compliance, SOC certifications, and even FedRAMP. You can get private endpoints, meaning your AI traffic never touches public internet. Whereas OpenAI has basic security, it is SOC 2 compliant and encrypted, but it is not built for industries with strict regulations. The next difference is the pricing. OpenAI is straightforward. You can pay per token. A token is roughly 4 characters and it is simply transparent and done. Whereas for Azure OpenAI, you pay for the token plus the Azure infrastructure, networking, storage. But if you are already using Azure, you might get enterprise discounts that makes it cheaper overall. The next difference is the latest features. If you want a new GPT model the day it releases, we can go with OpenAI. It pushes the updates immediately. Whereas in Azure OpenAI, it is more conservative. The new models go through extensive testing before release. You might wait for weeks or months for new features, but you get stability in return. The last difference is the integration. OpenAI gives you clean REST API. It works with everything, but you need to build the integration yourself. Whereas in Azure OpenAI, it plugs directly with Microsoft ecosystem. It has native integration with Office 365, Power Apps, Azure Functions, and dozens of Azure services. If you are a Microsoft shop, this is huge. Now let's see the real-time scenarios. If you are a startup building a chatbot, go with OpenAI. You need to move fast, integrate quickly, and keep the cost predictable. You don't have time for complex Azure setups, and probably you don't need enterprise features. The second scenario is you are a hospital building an AI diagnostic tool. You can go with Azure OpenAI, no questions. You need HIPAA compliance, data residency controls, audit logs for everything. Patient data cannot leave your controlled environment. The third scenario is if you are a developer learning AI, OpenAI is always the best. The free trials lets you experiment, the documentation is cleaner, and you will find more tutorials and community support. The fourth scenario is if you are a Fortune 500 company, Azure OpenAI makes sense here. You already have Azure infrastructure, enterprise agreement with Microsoft, and even security team that demands private endpoints and compliance certifications. Finally, let's talk about cost breakdown. For small project, OpenAI is usually cheaper. Here is a real example. For processing 1 million tokens with GPT-4, cost about $30 simple. Whereas in Azure OpenAI, it's $30 for tokens plus virtual network cost, storage cost, monitoring cost, potential load balancing cost, etc. You might end up with $35 to $40 for the same workload. But this is important. At an enterprise scale, Azure OpenAI can be cheaper with reserved capacity, enterprise agreements, and Azure credits. You can flip this equation completely. I hope you got a fair idea of the difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. We can see more practicals in the upcoming videos. Until then, stay tuned. If you do like this video, please consider to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.